Hi, I'm Kevin Schroeder. On this channel I do fishing videos, motorcycle videos, and some camping videos. Today I'd like to give you a bit of an update on my 2007 Princecraft Fisherman boat and boat modification. What I'm going to show you today is it's been a couple years since I've done the modification, and I thought it would be kind of cool to show you what works, what didn't work, and the things that I've done to the boat. So without further ado, let me show you around. You may wonder why there's all these stickers on the side of the boat. My dad and I actually won this boat in the Owen Sound Salmon Spectacular back in 2007. Most of the stickers came on it. There's a few of them that I did contact the manufacturers. We won it catching the fish that I'll show you right now. That's the fish. So one of the first things I did is I put this old dog leash on here as a safety chain. Works really well. It's got a clip on it, and it keeps the boat on from falling off if this clip would ever come off. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the top platform here. This platform, what I did was I took a piece of plywood, but before I did that I laid cardboard out. I cut out the cardboard and I stuck it on here and carpeted it, and then I put the bracket for the chair. I usually have the chair down low. I've got it up high right now. I've got the boat all set up for fishing because I wanted to talk to you about how I use it and how it works for me. One of the things I did do is I put this swivelly chair up on the top here, and that really is nice if you're bass fishing or fishing in a small lake. I will sit up at the front, and with the trolling motor, I'm able to control the trolling motor while I'm sitting there, sometimes with my foot, sometimes just with my hand, and I can move along a shoreline and I can cast. It works really, really well. The other thing I did is, if you see down here, the floor, that's just a piece of plywood, and I built up a couple of pieces of wood underneath it, and was able to carpet it. I'll put a couple of pictures here, right here, and show you what that looks like. So one of the other things I've done is I've changed all the lights from incandescent bulbs to LED bulbs. Makes a huge difference, hardly uses any battery. It's great. Everything in the boat that is a light is LED. You look right here, you can see the navigation lights. Again, LED, and that's got a nice 4-foot post. Works really well. Right here, I've got the battery box that controls the trolling motor. That little 30 pound thrust trolling motor I got at Walmart, paid a whopping $99 for. That thing works awesome. Works really, really good. The other thing I wanted to show you is, if you can see right here on the bench, what I did is I mounted a blue LED light, and the blue LED light, I mounted one there, and I'll just take you around the other side here, and I mounted another one there. And what I'm able to do with those is it lights up the inside of the boat really well. The other thing I did is I mounted 3/4 inch plywood onto the seats, and once I mounted the plywood onto the seats, I was able to put the bracket on here so they can have the swivel seat. My stereo has got an output for iPod. I sometimes will put my cell phone on it, or as you see right now, I've got an iPod mounted on there. Great for listening to tunes while you're out on the water. Another thing, what I did, I was walking down the beach one day and I found this old tether strap for a surfboard. And what I do with this is I put this around my wrist, and I've attached my whistle on there, and I've also got it's tied to the kill switch on the motor. With this strap, I'm able to walk all the way almost to the front of the boat. So if I am doing any work with the downriggers and I'm fishing by myself, I don't have to worry about having the falling overboard and the boat leaving me. So I fall overboard, it kills the motor, and everything's good. Well, I'm wet, so it wouldn't be really good, but it'd be good. When you fish for big salmon, you need to have a great big net. Where the heck do you put the big net? I have a very long-handled net, and I stick it in the spot right here, in behind the paddles, my paddles that I use for in case of emergency. I find having it there is very handy. It's a little bit of a pain when you got a fish on. It is a lot easier if you're fishing with somebody else, but when you're by yourself, typically what I will do is I'll put the net together before I start fishing so that if I do need it, I can just grab it. Another addition onto the boat that I have added are these, they call them like ball babies, and what they're for is for my downriggers. I'll show you, I'll get a little closer. So what these do is these are screwed in, and this is a great place to keep your cannonballs so they don't go slopping all around, especially when it's rough. That works really well. One of the other things I did when I was doing my wiring was I used an old extension cord, and the reason I used an old extension cord was it was a way to keep all of the wires neat and tidy. I zip tied all the stuff together and such, but what I found was I did use hot glue, and as you can see, the hot glue didn't stand up, so maybe not the best way to do it. It was a try. I'm going to try something else and see what happens, but thought I'd share. This is what happens when you show what's happened after you've used it for a while. The floor of the bottom of the boat is a piece of plywood that is cut to fit and is carpeted over. Now you may ask, what's width? Is it held down? Technically, no, it's not. It is just sitting on top of the ribs of the boat, and the weight of the plywood, and then the weight of my boards, and it's fit in there so tight. Once it was carpeted, it doesn't move. It would be very easy to remove. All you would have to do is take out the boxes, and you could pull the whole thing out again. The other advantage of having these boxes is I've got the boxes for the gasoline, and you see I've got a few other things stored in there. I've got my binoculars, and I've got my safety equipment that I need to operate the boat. Why did I mount boxes into the boat? Well, two reasons. Reason number one was I needed a place to mount my downriggers. What I used to have, and I will show some pictures of what the boat looked like before, right here. And what you can see is the reason I put these boxes in is that I don't have to have a board across anymore to mount the downriggers. I do a lot of downrigging fishing for salmon and rainbow trout. I also use this boat a lot for a lot of other things, but for the most part, I'm a salmon and rainbow trout fisherman. At any rate, the boxes, and this one over here, I've got my radio mounted, and I've got all the controls. I've got my navigation lights for the front and back, the bilge pump, the cockpit lights, and the depth sounder are all on there. So if you look here, I've got my compass and my fish finder right here and the other thing I've done since the last time I posted a video was I've mounted these speakers. I found that having more speakers in here was awesome because I like that. The other thing I've done is I've put a solar panel, and the solar panel helps keep the battery charged. The other little trick I've done since I have posted the video in the first place, since I've done my modification, was I put a trickle charger and mounted it in so I don't have to keep opening the front of the door to charge the battery. This boat uses a 15 horsepower 4-stroke Mercury outboard. It's pretty good. When I've added all the extra weight, it is a little slower than it was before I added all the weight. The motor performs beautifully. I like it being a 4-stroke because I do a lot of trolling and it goes slow. The other thing is I put this locking device here on to protect it from being stolen. I mean, it's unfortunate that we have to worry about stuff like that, but In fact, we do. So there it is. I wasn't sure how I was going to mount my transducer for my fish finder. So I came up with the idea of putting a piece of plywood there, using 2 clamps, and screwing it on to the bottom. That way I don't have to put any holes in it. So if you have any comments or questions or things that you've done with your boat that maybe I can incorporate into my project, or if you'd like to know how I did any of the things that I did, put it in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe in the comments below. And yeah, happy fishing.